Crown. 1. But first, the fog within the chestnut tree waits heavy on the branch. We haven't lived here long, still love the axe, the frost, the stove's sharp breath, the eggs, shells warm with blood and feather. Back in bed, we watch an evergreen turn brown and talk of omens, fires that jump a mile. To stop the dog from stealing eggs, you put one in her mouth. Her fur a blue-black shudder, on her chest a broad white flare, as if the dog were sky, with moon behind her. 2. As if the dog were sky, with moon behind her, leaking through. It frightens me to think of sky as animal, awake, in heat, to add another's urges to our garden. Feed the night before the chickens. Ladle moon into a plastic bowl, unless the dog buries the saucer in the dirt laid over the new plumbing, light as sifted flour, but with a tug, a pulling down like quicksand, tidal hunger from beneath. 3. Like quicksand, tidal hunger from beneath the mulch, a clutch of empty husks, once crisp and spiky, chestnuts tucked inside in threes, one fat, two thin. We've got a sack of fat ones in our pickup for your grandpa, wool invested, feeding splinters to his stove. His knives are always freshly sharpened, wedged behind the sink. He scalps the chestnuts, eats the sweet meat with a spoon, like baby food, his eyes 2 cottons dipped in vinegar. 4. My eyes, 2 cottons dipped in vinegar, draw in the morning's acid. Had a dream just now, an interplanetary trip, a band of Argonauts. I packed in secret, autumn bleeding round me, flew with rockets on my back along the constellations, landed on a giant woolly star, where life went on in restaurants. A body can go on. My chestnut tree's a burning zodiac, this house an asterisk. 5. Zodiac. This house, an asterisk, 6 hens, 1 dried out pine, your beetroot beds, a crab leg in the yard. Today's a special super moon. They say that every month, as if we had a caravan of moons, the wolf, the blood, the harvest, rolling one by one across the sky. Your moon. They say when I was born the moon was mine, slipped down my throat to store her waters in my gut, to take unformed desires for her own. 6. To take unformed desires for my own, I count the things we miss. Live music, speed, a brush of skin, the avenues, a pastry on the way to somewhere, just to walk somewhere. To burn a pinch of lip with coffee, push into a crowded train, pulse through a gluey downtown night, to kiss a stranger in the sidewalk heat, their face on fire escapes, to seek the alleys, surge with city, alchemy of rubber, granite, flesh. 7. Alchemy of rubber, granite, flesh, no jobs for months. The capital's gone still, a choke of bleach and tear gas. Someone's written hunger big in lights above the square where revolution used to press its belly up against the shields, its irises distended, runny. Capital's a slice of artery, and death comes pouring juicy from the cut, and pumas rush the streets, a tawny, famished burst of heat and muscle. 8. A tawny, famished burst of heat and muscle. In a week, monsoon can make an island of a place. I went before the rains, groves tight with ferns, a frisbee game below the gulping power lines. That field would drown, that frisbee girl would die. I bore some kind of witness, but for what? A day, a poem, photo of a dead girl in my phone. That we have bones that never burn may be the only difference between us and liquid. 9. The only difference between us and liquid, how we hold together. I became obsessed with ghosts, with living bridges, falls that once were mothers, like Levi who turned to water in her grief. I tried to turn in ecstasy, unbind my molecules, trap drifts of sun and carry them downstream until a leaf flashed signals from the shore to call me back. Levi in chlorophyll. Along the verdant path, some force pulled on. 10. Along the verdant path, some force pulls on. Maybe the garden doesn't want to tell me anything, so you can have the pines, the garlic bulbs, the dog tongue wet with egg. I'll take the truck, husks rolling in the bed. Last night I dreamed the underworld, in silk and brush and bark, mid-heaven visible through loosened knots of wood. I'll write it down, but first, the fog within the chestnut tree.